Welcome to your weekly dose of positive and uplifting news. I am your host, Pule Mulebati, and this is Stories Untold. Today we go all the way to Port Shepstone to meet the 29-year-old Thubalethu Shange. His love for fixing and riding bicycles has taken him to destinations he never thought he would. Let us look at a story of how he went from being a village boy to an ultra rider.
Thubalethu Shange was born and bred at the periphery of KwaZulu-Natal in Port Shepstone at a small secluded village called Ndlovuzulu. Raised by a single mother, his dreams were narrowed down to only a handful of options.
When I grew up, honestly, I have to say, everyone who mostly grew up in the villages, the activities that you do as a boy in the village, you look after the cattle, you look after the donkeys, look after the goats. Even though you but on the neighborhood, you have to do that. So that was the activity that we used to do. But then along the way, we started inventing go-karts. Go-karts, those 3 wheels, man-made carts. Then it started there. I can't recall the year, but it started there. Those were my most activity that I used to do here in the village. Go-karts is smaller, I may say. And then we used to come here and swim in this river. Why we used to swim in this river? You have to use what you have. Same like in school. You must let X be 0 to get Y. Use what you have to get what you don't have.
Thuba wanted to not only please his mother, but his village.
I remember once I get into grade 10, where I had to choose my career choice studies, because that's where it starts in grade 10, where you have to choose physics, accounting, and whatsoever. I remember leaving the village, going to Durban, and I had no clue, honestly, what subject must I take for me to be a civil engineer. And then because of my pass rate marks on maths, you can understand well maths from the village and the maths from the township or Durban especially. It's way out, it's way different. So they couldn't allow me to do physics as I wanted to be a civil engineer, mainly in construction, because I mostly believe developing infrastructure and developing especially the infrastructure that is needed the most into the town, into the village, especially developing infrastructure of grounds, developing infrastructure of indoor cycling. That's I've discovered right now that in my village we need indoor cycling or the track ground. So that was discovered later. So that's why I wanted to be a civil engineer, but mainly in infrastructure development. So that was my main career. But things happen, some things does not happen. So when other doors are closed, you don't have to sit back. Just kick another door. Don't just knock at that time. When you knocked and that door was not open, so next door, kick it. You will find something inside that you wanted.
Barely surviving and depending on subsistence farming, Thuba's mother had all her faith on her sons.
Esekhulile-ke wafunda umatric, emesekufunda umatric waba nesifiso okushuthi ngenxa ukuthi ngangingenawo amandla mina ngaye ngabona mhlambe kulula ukuthi afundele kushuthi mina ngangithanda enza civil engineering. Wayenza unyaka owodwa kusho ukuthi kwakhona akuthandayo naye. Kwayila mina ngangingenalo kulwazi lwalezi zinto zamanje NSFAS ntontontoni. Hayi kwawukuthi akakazame enye into ayizama ke kwangaphumeleleki ke ngaleso sikhathi ke kuthenga iminyaka edlulile nje mangaphazama mhlawumbe ngo2014 mangaphazama la eqale khona ke uthanda amabhayisikili ke.
Dreaming for her son to be an engineer slowly faded as Thuba's love for mountain bikes began.
Waqala lapha kaBeristanda yaqala kwakhe nje amabhayisikili waba umuntu ke ohlezi ngalo shabena kwaze kwaba ukuthi kusho ukuthi into ekuyena nje yagcina seyinto ekuyena nje seyikuyena. Ngiyamfisela ukuthi engathi ngelinye ilanga mhlambe yayihambe le ndlela mhlambe kuze kube sekuphumeleleni mhlambe mhlawumbe impumelelo yethu mhlawumbe ikuyena ngalo mdlalo wakhe awenzayo nakuba phela thina sazi ukuthi umuntu ufanele afunde uzohamba uthola umsebenzi ngokuthi ufundile noma mhlawumbe leso skill osiphiwe uNkulunkulu noma mhlawumbe ungafinyelelanga ekufundeni okutheni kanti kwesinye isikhathi impilo yomuntu isekuphiweni uNkulunkulu ukuthi ukupheni ungaphumelela ungafundanga ungahanga esikoleni kodwa ngekhona elithizo eliyimfihlo kaNkulunkulu akuphe yona uphumelele.
When Thuba started playing with bicycles, he felt a different type of liberation.
When the door of me wanting to become a civil engineer didn't happen because of lack of financial background at that time, so I had to opt to kick another door off. When it was opened, then cycling was there for me to grab and take.
With his interest growing, like fate, Thuba started coming across like-minded people. Bobby's cycling shop became his go-to spot.
2012, I remember life wasn't easy at all at that time. I had to support my family, and as I'm the old one at home, so I had to take sides. I have to think deep on how I can make my family to survive. Then I had to choose maybe the best way to keep my family surviving at that time, to be a security officer, not just a security guard. So I was at another known big firm company for security, a reputable one. And then, because my calling, honestly, in life, I mostly believe in calling. Same like journalists, they are journalists because they know why they tend to like news and tell the world interesting stories. When you are a soccer player, you must have the calling. When you are a teacher, you must have the calling. So my calling was not there.
He bared his responsibilities, but not for long.
Welcome back to the show. Former security guard Thubalethu Shange now shares with us some of the challenges that he came across while pursuing a career that most people perceive to be just a hobby. Let's have a look at his story.
Thubalethu Shange is an avid cyclist. Self-taught, his passion for the sport has been constantly challenged by his family responsibilities. The former security officer had to choose between passion or pain.
I didn't know anything about bikes from 91 when I was born up until 2013, because I started cycling and competing on the CSA sanctioned races back in 2013 with my cheap bike, red bike. Yeah, it was a soft tail. Now I'm fully rigid.
Although his passion came with no financial guarantee, his zeal paved a way.
It helped me with my family. My brother, Mzokona Shange, it helped him also that time. I remember he went to another university called Mangosuthu University of Technical to upgrade his studies, and then I had to pay those fees.
Mohammed is one of Thuba's good friend. Their friendship was sparked when Thuba volunteered to help Mohammed at his shop.
I met him, must have been 8-9 years ago. He used to come here to repair his bike, and then we met and we started to ride together at the bike park, which is just up the road from here. And when we go to races, he used to help us at events as a mechanic, and just speak to people. And we do mechanics at these big events, you know. Yeah, like Cape Epic, Sunny to See, and all of those big events.
Not only cycling, but fixing bikes, this is when the road to professional cycling started.
He had the ability to continue riding. You know, other people start and they stop. He just continued and he went. So, yeah, he had a vision, and I think, we just backed it up.
He now had to work with what he had. He used his village as his training ground.
There has to be something that inspires you. And there has to be a passion. And the calling otherwise, you can say. So those are the three things: passion, inspiration, and the calling. Then you do it. What inspired me, honestly, I may say it is, back in 2012, with no late Baristanda, you may call him the Dart. He was called the Darts. 2012 London Olympics, Baristanda is from Port Shepstone. 2020, he was participating on the Olympic for the first time. And he did so well in such a way that the whole country was like, wow. How come this guy from Port Shepstone, he did so well in getting overall on the Olympics, competing with Nuno Shooter, Kulhavi, Manuel Fumic, and all those top guys. And then he managed to get position 12 overall. That was a big push, that was a big achievement for him. And us on this ground, it was a big push for us to believe in that sport or in the sport that we may have discovered at that time. But that's when it started, when seeing my local guy, Baristanda, doing so well.
His confidence grew, and with that, his mother accepted his path and began supporting him.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi ngathi ngelinye ilanga angaba umuntu aphumelele nje seside isikhathi ezama kungaphumeleleki ke ngendlela mhlamba race kungabi khona naye abuya nako kodwa ngoba kusuke kuyinto ekuyena egazini uyabekezela. Ngicabanga ukuthi ngelinye ilanga uzophumelela mhlawumbe nathi size sikwazi ukuthi siphumelele sibe yibantu nakuba bona kungabanga lula kona ukuze abe ngaka ngoba bashoba babo yena ngicanga ukuthi wena 2 years lo mncane wena 1 year nje impilo yabanzima nje ngangazitshena ukuthi bo even umatric mina ngangizitshela ukuthi boqeda la kule ikole babuye bayihlalele phansi ngoba ngangibone ngathi impilo yila sekufika ukuthi iyama kanti uNkulunkulu uyakwazi ukuhlelela umuntu nje ngoba kwakuba babe nawo matric nje mina kwaba isurprise from uNkulunkulu ukuthi nama ngazi ukuthi kwenzekeni ukuze bazi bafike lapho nebefike khona. Ngifisa ukuthi ngathi ngelinye ilanga ke bangagcina beba yibantu abaphumelelayo bebo babili benobhuti wakhe.
Brave and confident, Thuba entered his first race.
I was like, if Baristanda did well in the cross-country races, so I said to myself, I can do better and even be better than him. Though I'm not competing with Baristanda, but what he did, it inspired me and it still pushed me to be willing to achieve my goals of being the best ultra mountain biker. He was the best cross-country rider, so I chose to be doing better than him. So that's why I even chose not just cross-country, but ultra extreme mountain biker.
After his first race, Thuba's life changed for the better, fulfilled with passion.
Honestly, doing something, for me personally, I'm mostly believing there has to be something that inspires you. And there has to be a passion. And the calling otherwise, you can say. So those are the 3 things: passion, inspiration, and the calling. Then you do it.
Welcome back. This is indeed the last leg of the show. Thubalethu Shange is one of the few black ultra-cyclists. Let us ride one last track with Thuba, as we all know that this is a costly sport.
How did I get it? I have to manage to buy the frame separately when I was still a bike mechanic at another shop back in 2017. So I had to source the frame. And the wheels, these carbon wheels, I couldn't manage to buy them. These wheels, they're expensive for me to buy them. They're like 16,000 rand. But Mohammed Havaiji from Bobby Cyclist, he donated them for me. And the fork, that fork is also costly-wise. I can't afford. The only thing I had to pay for it, honestly, I will say this, is the frame. The rest was just donated.
Thubalethu Shange dared to dream and cast out the norms of his society. He's a self-taught pro cyclist with no coach or mentor. He has thus far attended all big races, all because of his tenacity.
Going to the racing, and racing, I'm talking about real racing of ultra, because that's where my racing mostly started, where I said, now I'm able to do extreme racing, not just racing. Because of financial background that is not good, it started in the 2019, where I was competing on the first stage race, the back and bush. So I didn't start racing in 2019, but I started racing in 2013. I'm talking about the real racing, ultra racing. So I started these, you may call it crazy races, but I started doing them in 2019, where I was given an entry by Roxanne of Bag and Bush to perform, to race there on the Eurosteel, it's a, what that race name? It's a Eurosteel, it's a Bag and Bush Eurosteel practice center. And then I had no choice to test my limits, because the entry was given and I have to produce, to ride my bike from Port Shepstone up to Winterton, close to the border posts of Free State, like 300 Ks. And on the following day, I had to race another 100 Ks. So I had to race another 3-day stage race. So when I get there, I met another guy who's a Munga guy who did the Munga on another years. He said, Thuba, how did you manage to come here? Because he mostly see me on Strava. So I'm mostly known on Strava. So I'm like an e-race guy who mostly known on the e-racing and all the stuff. And then he asked me, because Thuba, you don't have money, you are no longer working now. How did you manage to come here? I said, I rode my bike from Port Shepstone to get here. And he said, no, just do the Munga. That's what he just said. I can't recall that guy's name, but he just said, just do the Munga. And I was like, how am I gonna do the Munga? Because the Munga is like 1,080 kilometers. And the Munga, you must be riding the Munga for about 5 days non-stop, not sleeping, not resting, but non-stop. And then he said, no, you manage to ride 300 Ks and you can ride 1,000 Ks. And then I was like, okay, I'll just do it. If you see something good to me, because when someone sees something good to you, you have to say thank you. And you have to say, how can I not keep doing it?
From one meander to another, Thuba says this is his destiny.
I started cycling and competing on the CSA sanctioned races back in 2013 with my cheap bike, red bike. Yeah, it was a soft tail. Now I'm fully rigid. But anyway, I didn't know anything. I had to hunt also. Where can I meet the family? Because it all starts in the family. It took us a couple of years building me, because I wasn't just an ultra rider. I was built also by that standard family. They helped me also on teaching me how to train. But at that time, who I was riding with was Mohammed Hafaji from Bobby Cyclist. That's the guy even I mostly train with at some days, because he's not an ultra rider. When I need his help, I also speak to more, and also for training methods and also for training tactics, and when to rest, when to do this certain session. Yeah, he's the guy who's mostly with me ever since I started.
Finishing all his ultra races on time, Thuba recently won a virtual race which took part during COVID-19.
That was it. It started back in 2019, doing this ultra racing, doing the Munga, not having any money to pay for an entry, not having any money to buy the bus ticket or the flight ticket. And I may say this, it was my first time in 2019 getting into the plane, not just a plane, not just SAA, but a proper plane. I can't say the brand, but that was another interesting story. I will tell another day. How did I do things in a plane for the first time? It's funny.
Thuba's friend and bicycle shop owner says he's the next young black pro ultra cyclist.
In the future, I see him on a podium soon. Yeah, he needs to get there. But yeah, he's been trying very hard, and I think he's going to get there one day. He will.
From the fields to the tracks, Thuba's mother says allowing your children to do what they love will bring better fruits.
Ngifisela ukuthi engathi angathi mephumelela athi mekhulisa lo mntwana mhlawumbe makuwukuthi mhlambe naye umntwana angayithanda lonto ngangiyibonile yaba lento ukuthi umzali uthandela ingane into hayi khona ayisebenzi ngoba wena uyathanda impela ubhatalazi ngalondlela kodwa ingane yona inento yayo mase kufika la ikwazi ukuhlukanisa khona izinto ngimfisela ukuthi engathi naye angamkhulisa umntwana nokuba kunzima phela ke nje since yena ke kuumuntu ongekho kamlungu ongasebenzi indawo ukubhatanisa lokho kodwa engathi uNkulunkulu angamsiza amkhulise lo mntwana nami mangikhona ikhona indlela sizaphusha empilweni ngoba nami ngibonile ukuthi kuyenzeka.
He fought his way to cycling and being a pro cyclist, and this is indeed his destiny. Today, Thuba is a force to be reckoned with, even getting invited to one of his dream race in Belgium. This goes to show that you are what you dream.
Surviving, it's still a bit of a challenge, but it's not a bit, but I can say we're almost there. There is no fund, okay? There is no sponsorship I have. It's just individual donation that I normally ask when I need help, mostly. Because when you do this type of the sport, especially when you're from the village, and this is an unknown sport, it's mostly known for other races, but most people, they tend to close their doors, even though they see you doing it. But then I can't blame them. It's their time. My time is coming. So there is no help, but fairly, I may say, when I need extreme help for financial support, there is always Sandy Lengwabe who always assists me. Mostly, not always, but mostly when I need it desperately for help or for finance. But otherwise, I don't even know how I survive. I mostly get private donation from people I don't know.
Thuba says his message is to shine a light to all village kids.
Being the only one on the village started cycling, what I want to leave behind is to see many kids, because there are so many talents here in the village. There are so many talents also in the townships. There are so many talents in this vulnerable environment that we grew up on. For me, getting into this light, I just want to live the light. That's what I want to live, it's the light.
And on that inspiring note, we end our show here for today. We hope that Thubalethu's story has inspired you to follow your dreams regardless of the challenges that you may face. From myself, Pule Molebati, and the rest of the team, Salasindli.